Good morning. I think it started. I wanted to do kind of a part 2 video for another part 1 video where I did a video about the 231 Hermit cards I pulled from the deck collection I have. Kind of a silly thing to do, but it's any excuse to go back and look at them, use them, play with them, which I did, and it took a while. Why I chose the Hermit card is beyond me. Looking back, I wish I'd have done the Moon card. I think that's more me, but anyway. And I think it's morning. Yeah, it's morning. So here we're seeing the YouTube web page. So what I want to do is show you my website, but not just because it's my website, but because of the new page that goes with the part 1 video. So I guess this will be part 2. And there you've seen all of this, I'm sure. There's the big deck collection one, which is easier to search and all that. But if we click on the new thing, Hermit 231, I'll call it. These are just still photographs, high resolution ones, but yet the cards are twisted and turned, so there's no stealing of the images. I'm not sure how you would do that or use that anyway, since they're all hermits. They're not like a deck. But anyway, I did try to do that on purpose. But this first image here is kind of special to me because a very young family member showed me how to do that on the iPad Procreate. So I was able to put the frog from other cards I've made on there, and then the hermit from one of, from Pixie Pamela Coleman Smith's art. Put her signature there on the cloak. And she showed me how to erase in such a way that most of the card disappears, but yet the image behind it comes forward. I thought that was interesting how she figured that out. But anyway, and slightly confusing here is this says Hermit 230 because there are 230 decks, but there are actually 231 Hermit cards shown on these canvases. These are old, mostly acrylic canvases that I gessoed over so they're white again. And sometimes you don't like what you did, so you start over again. Why not reuse an old canvas? But before we scroll down through them all slowly so you can look at it this way, if you don't want to go to the website, you can pause this video and just find the number and figure out the card, the deck it's from. But there is one special one called, I think the number's 241. Pretty sure you have to type at least 3 things. So on this search, I geared it more towards the number and not the words, but it will do the words. So if we found card 241, you see there's 2 of them. There's an A and a B. That's because the deck, the Book of Shadows Tarot, is a box set that has really 2 decks in it. So below, as above. It should be as above, so below. I got them backwards, but that's okay. So that's how the search would work. I guess I could type in shadows, or shadows, and then those 2. I guess it understands about plurals. I didn't know that. That's interesting. I don't think I was that thorough in my search, but I guess so. Anyway, so you can do the words, but mostly it's about the numbers on this page. So let's scroll down. Make sure we got a good look at that, because I'm proud of that. Here we have the first canvas, and in this image you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 canvases. So here's canvas number 1. Get that on the screen as best I can. Well, I think it's enough to see the number and the card, a bit of the card. So I'll hold that for a second. And then below it, what you will see is the number with the deck name. So here we got 120 Mystic Fortune Teller. Let's say we were really interested in this. We like that 309 card. What is that? What deck is that Hermit from? So if you scroll down or do a search, scroll down. It's on row 4, the last card. We see it's the Trip and Wait. So now if you click on that, now there are some that don't have videos, like the Witch's Tarot. For some reason I didn't do a video, so it gets highlighted, but you can't click on it. That was me tapping. But here, if I click on Trip and Wait, it will go over there. Good afternoon. That was one way to sneak in the peace sign. It's amazing when you look at them again, what YouTube does to them. They get fuzzier. I mean, I know around the edges are fuzzy because it's a camcorder. It's an expensive camcorder, but it's still a camcorder. So, you know, there's a roundness to it. That's expected. Right in the middle should be, you know, dead bang, point on, spot on, all those fancy words for clearly focused. But it isn't always, and that's probably me. So apologies for that. So then you could go and watch the video and see all the cards kind of beside each other. You can also just ask in a comment, and I'll tell you which deck that card's from. So let's go down to Canvas 2. And here on the right hand side you see some of the numbers got a little chopped off. So I edited the photograph and added in the proper number, like 035, 037, 038. So it's more readable. And like I say, they're angled and dangled and twisted and slightly out of focus, I would say, but that's on purpose. But then again, who would steal just a pile of Hermit cards and make a deck of Hermit cards? But maybe, but just in case. And again, the same pattern. It tells you the row and then the card, and then you could click on it and go watch the video if it has a video. I've got to correct that and go back and make videos. I know I made them. Just what happened to them is the question. There's my first one, probably, the Mary L. Let's click to see what that looks like. Yep, that's the old days when I used a GoPro. Hello. And I didn't do a peace sign. Here's Canvas 3. So we'll pause there. You can see I had to put a 99 on the Heragita. I forget the name of that deck. Kind of the amazing part of all this to me is as I did them, I mean, if I had to, somebody quizzed me or something, gave me a test on these, I wouldn't be able to recall them. But as I went through them, I could, almost all of them, I could tell what the deck was. Because I don't have them in boxes anymore, I don't know what the deck, unless they have a, you know, one of those art cards up front that tells you what the deck is. But just looking at them now, I can recall. I was kind of impressed by it. Also, you notice, and that was a big one for me, when you put them all together like that and manipulate them, you really notice some things about cardstock you didn't notice before. Some of them they're all multiple layers and plies and some, possibly some paper in there and a lot of petrochemicals, right? But some of them aren't bonded or mushed or squeezed tight enough. Did I pause long enough? I think I got all the rows. This one down 151 in the lower right corner is a Boda uncolored. I did color it, but I did it digitally. And here's the rows again. Notice the Ludi Lescott Tarot has no video. I know I made that. The Great Way, I know I didn't make that video. Starter Tarot deck probably doesn't need a video. Old English, I don't get some of these. And hopefully they all match up. Hopefully. Let's see, here we are on Canvas 4. So I'll let that go for a little bit. I had to correct this one because I numbered the same thing twice, so that's 195. We'll see here in a second what 195 is. I think it's that really flimsy, thin cardstock. I forget his name, Kiro Marchetti, but it's really called a starter or something like that. Easy Tarot, sorry. And there's a video for it, of all things. And here comes canvas 5. Hopefully they're all there. I see the fuzziness here. This is one of those, and 196 is one of those decks where the cards easily peel apart. Very disappointing. Looks like US Games and Low Scarabeo. I have to give them more credit than I was before because their cards hold up to various treatment. And again, here's each row and what deck the Hermit card's from. And here's canvas number 6. Slow down, pause. There's the oddball in the thing that's making it 230 decks or 231 Hermit cards, because it's, you know, one box, 2 decks in one box, volume 1, volume 2. That's as above, that's so below. You can't get more below than in your bathtub, which is appropriate because I'm going to, at the end of this, show things, some short story collections that I've been reading, kind of a guilty pleasure kind of thing. Not that I'm a well-read person, obviously. And there's the rows again with each card matched to the deck. So the website, that'll stay on the website as long as I can have that free website, which I've had for many years now. It was a part of programming back when that was my job. Here comes canvas 7, which only had 1 row on it. And even though I tried to get ones that were kind of unique, there's going to be repetition within Hermit cards to get the meaning, interpretation, kind of standard system, whatever people call it. There's the 2 round ones. I think I have a 3rd round one, but didn't do it for some reason. And again, there's the row, and then no video. There's the row and the deck that the card came from. And at the bottom here, here's all 231 of them squeezed into a container and with a ruler for some bizarre reason. And they're to be put away, as I say there. So I get to go through them again, which I enjoy doing. So let's go back to the top. Let's get rid of this YouTube channel. Yeah, I can keep it. It doesn't matter. So hopefully that helps someone. But like I say, if you don't want to go through all this nonsense, and if you can read the number, I noticed in the first video, part 1, it's not so clear. But in here, it should be pretty clear if we scroll down. Those are kind of see-through, so the white background helps, I think, on the canvases. So if you do have something you like and you want, even though it's a depth year, this kind of feels like a depth thing, huh? Kind of silly thing, but hey. I kind of enjoyed it. I like going through the decks, doing whatever with them. But, okay, that's the end of Hermit 231, as I call it. And just to share my guilty pleasure, since I'm doing a screen capture, this is an easier way to do it anyway. The things I've been reading, at least in Kindle. I do have paperbacks or hardback, paper books. I kind of like those more sometimes. I go to the library occasionally and get stuff instead of feeding the man that's called Amazon. But I do get Kindle books, and they are easier to read because you can do this with them. If I click on that, look how big you can make that font. You can have bookmarks. You can color stuff. If we go back, you can see I color In other words, highlight words like, what's with that maneuver? That's a strange looking word. And then you have them all together. So let's go back to the library. These three at the top, the first book, or the book I'm currently reading, is by Robert Aickman, The Wine Dark Sea. The author called them strange stories. They're kind of ghost stories, but not like a horror, I guess. But they're not like, Stephen King with the blood and the gore and all that. They're more like kind of make you think a little bit, but not too much. They're short stories. And then the other two that I read before that was The Wild Child by T.C. Boyle. That story is kind of sad. And then some of those in there are pretty good, but even better was the Relive box, again by T.C. Boyle. I enjoyed all of those stories. I thought they were pretty good. And this book here was by a guy named Scott Bradfield, who has a YouTube channel where he talks about, in a lot of cases, short stories. And when I mentioned that Hermit card where the person's in the bathtub, that's what he refers to as like reading great books in the bathtub. To be honest, if you read any of these stories in the bathtub, you would look like a raisin by the time you were done. Some of them are kind of long, but not too long that you can't just, finish it before bed or whenever. I think that was it in terms of short stories. I would not recommend this Terence McKenna book because all this is quotes with pictures. They do some channels on YouTube do a much better job of having him talk and lecture, kind of. Mostly he's funny. He tells a lot of stories, but I think he attributes that to being Irish. And a lot of his stuff is very funny, but some of it's kind of thoughtful too. But some of those channels, they put some really nice images and replace, looking at his face the whole time with those various pictures and artworks. It's really nice. Of course, I tend to fall asleep because some of them go on for 5 hours or more. Those videos are really long. They're nice if you like to fall asleep to YouTube videos. But if I scroll down, you can see I've gone through a lot. That's only the part that you leave on your device. There's way more books than that. But I'm not a great reader, so. But I wanted to share that since I was doing a screen capture. We'll go back to the whole point of this was the Hermit 231, and let's see if I find a recent video. What's a recent video? I can get the peace sign in there in a kind of an odd way. Trip and wait ought to do it. Good afternoon. So it's really good morning with a peace sign, but there we go. I'll end on that screen. Kind of scroll position. The videos are already here. I can't put the link until I'm done with it. So with that, I will say peace and hope you enjoy this.